push the like button. Come on, seriously.
We want to do
All
a
right.
fan meetup, and we're thinking
Yeah.
tomorrow, Saturday, at Mox Boarding House.
Yeah, do you guys want to meet up at Mox Boarding House in Bellevue, Washington?
If you guys are watching this right now live,
Yep.
which is not this right now, it's Friday night at 10:06 p.m.
And let's be honest, it's only going to be local people because it's all going to be PDT. Everybody else is sleeping. Like all the East Coast sleeping, Midwest sleeping.
Yeah, no, obviously, but
Yeah.
I'm curious as to how many people watching this right now would come. And so tweet me right now, me or Jerry, but include me, if you guys would actually come and do a hangout with us. We don't want to sit here and do anything like over the top. We just want to hang out with you guys.
We just want to hang out, and we want to make sure that people are actually interested because the last couple of times I've done these things, like
To be fair,
10
the last couple of times you've done it, you've done like a tweet and that was it, not actually reached out to your YouTube audience.
This is true. I've never actually done a video before saying that I'm having a meetup somewhere, so this might be a little different.
But if I titled this too, we're having a meetup, I bet more people would have like been interested in that. Maybe I'll retitle it after. But anyway,
There you
I'd like to hang out with y'all. Yeah, I know you guys are all over the world. I don't expect anyone in Finland to drive over. You could drive across the Atlantic Ocean, I'm sure.
I'm sure you can catch a red eye. I mean,
Red eye?
yeah. I see what you did there. Hey guys, I'm curious. How does the audio sound? The video looks good. We're not doing an audio test on this side. I'm curious to see if the audio is cool because I've never done a live stream where I've had a nice shotgun mic literally just like hanging over my head.
It's a decent shotgun mic. I feel like my Audio Technica is a little better pickup for this type of thing.
Yep.
But this is the one I use with my FS5 for run and gun, and I love it because it's a hypercardioid, or it's a supercardioid, not a hypercardioid. And so it's got a little bit wider pickup pattern. I don't use it in my room.
James Swanson said Jerry's STI is trash. And he donated to you to tell me that my car was trash.
I forgot about the donations. Okay, so where I'm not using the typical the streaming method right now.
Yep.
We're doing the quick stream.
Yep.
I didn't even know that would still be there. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to turn here. Watch your elbow.
No, you don't got to change that. I don't care.
No, I'm not changing anything. I forgot. Look, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they actually do it right this way. Check this out.
What are you doing?
If I click there's stream health right there.
Do not reveal your stream key.
I know, right? It doesn't show. It's all.
Leaving the top lane pick for last because their bot lane's been performing so well. Victor is a fine champion in a very pinched mid lane meta, which means you can give Smeb what he wants, which is the counter pick top lane.
Yeah, and just based on the way this draft phase is going, Crepo, it definitely feels like SKT have been backed into a corner. Rox has played this series so well, they forced the Misfortune ban, they completely changed what SKT has done. Blank wasn't playing well, they have to sub back in Bengi while they're on blue side, they're forced into a first pick in Italy. All these things are things that SKT, you feel like they almost have to do, and it's going to be really hard for them to fight their way out.
But at the same time, SKT's drafts have always been at least fine. The gameplay is what mattered the most here. A lot of these plays were technically avoidable, counterable, but there was no initiative on the side of SKT.
Yeah, they've been the victims of many attacks by the Rox Tigers, but you also look at the way, even if their drafts have been fine, look at all the changes they are making. So clearly SKT thinks they need to make large adjustments in this phase of the game, and this is a pretty massive departure from what we've seen from them thus far.
I like it though. I like Zillion especially. It just fits stylistically against an Ashe. Targets gets picked off, you revive it. You have a weak early laner in Victor, should probably get pushed in by the Zillion in that matchup. You have just a block in the top lane, the Gnar. When all else fails, just pick Gnar again. Make sure he gets into the game, speed him up in the team fights. At least you have some crown control effects there because you're playing with a jungler that is purely damage focused and doesn't have CC.
And the hover right now is on the rumble here. 30 seconds to go until that one times out here. It just feels like time and again, Rox get everything they could want, and as the team is playing better, this feels good for them to close
I
this out.
almost want to see a Poppy here, just into the Gnar for Smeb, but he feels like he just wants to be more of a damage threat.
Too bad, Crepo, he's going rumble. That once again.
Sucks for me. But yeah, he has if he does the same thing he did in the last few games, which is switch up the lanes he goes to, doesn't use his teleport, just goes to the lane immediately, plays around enemy teleport advantage very well, uses Fog of War, then I'm so happy with this rumble pick because I want to see more great Smeb plays.
And I'm really excited as well for the jungle matchup overall. It's funny because we keep casting this Nidalee in a negative light because we haven't seen Bengi perform on it, but this is the only champion at Worlds 2016's 100% pick band. Every single team respects this champion, and if Bengi can show up on it with SKT's backs against the wall, that's huge.
And the first 4 levels are so important to follow because Olaf is actually relatively predictable in the jungle. and he goes super low on mana. So if anything goes wrong, his clear is disrupted to an extreme degree, which is honestly puts the onus of this game onto Bengi. He can single-handedly destroy Rox's early game and have SKT play their comfortable even into the mid-game style.
And Bengi has been nothing if he has not been clutch at big moments in international stages. SKT and every World Championship they have attended, they have won. They have never lost a best-of-5 at Worlds. They are pushed from one game towards elimination. Bengi subs back in, having won the first game, and he gets put on a first pick in Italy. This is when Bengi has to step up to save SKT.
And SKT has done this before. I've seen SKT backs against the wall in a best-of-5 and pulling it out in the end anyway. This could be the last game of the night, or if Bengi has anything to say, we go to a Game 5. Summoner's Cup, the chance in the finals on the line here. SK Telecom T1 versus Rox Tigers, Game 4, here we go!
Alright, let's track it here. Very condensed Rox lineup, looking for a potential face check punish. SKT very spread here. If somebody tries to challenge River Vision, a single axe could blow Faker's flash here. Ah. Or it could not.
Left. They thought he would be waiting in the brush. Faker was waiting in plain sight, but they didn't have the reveal because they wanted to throw the axe from around the corner. Dangerous scout. Get away with it.
But they lose. Ooh. I actually don't like that play because you should fan out, especially when you're playing against an Italy. Giving early information in your jungle. We've seen what Korean teams can do with a single ward, a single sliver of information, especially against a relatively predictable jungle like Olaf.
Totally agree. You had champions like Elise and Lee Sin earlier who can jump over walls and hide around. Olaf has no such tricks. He walks in a straight line and...
Oh, and they're unaware of the ward, because look, Sveb's gonna go for a fake leash, it seems. Or is he just warding? It looked like he was setting up for the
he
fake
dropped a
leash.
late trinket.
But he saw the ward being put down, so what they're gonna do is actually they're gonna start the Olaf on the bottom side of the map and leave that ward right there, so the Nidalee can't go for the creative red buff steal on level 2.
And they placed it late enough that even if Bengi does go for it, theoretically Peanut would have time to run down and just trade the buffs in that fashion. So a lot of mind games going on early. Oh, I think it starts at the Raptors. That's clever, knowing they have the red buff. Started knowing that he's going to start blue. Gets one minion, doesn't lose any in lane.
Time Bomb the 3 autos should give him level 2 at the end of the first wave. It'll also prevent certain jungle patterns from Peanut hitting level 3 either. He'll have to go to his red buff or his ROM.
Correct, because a lot of the 3-path jungle rushes do include the Raptors, and this means if his third camp is the Raptors, he wouldn't be level 3 off of it because of that single minion being stolen.
Let's see what else can happen here. Bengi, 2 camps in so far. Gromp into blue buff, got a partial leash from Duke, and Peanut should have been communicated that the Raptors were gone, so he will stay and do a more power farming focused route. All 3 camps on the same side of his jungle. They'll walk over top side later, and he, I believe, never gets spotted by a ward doing this, so there's no guarantee that SKT knows exactly what camp he's on.
But they knew he started without a leash, which means they can actually extrapolate that he likely is going to be very low after his first clear.
Yeah, and probably started blue buff to be able to secure that.
Yeah, with all the jungle mind games going on as well, you still have to pay attention to the mechanics of the lane. Bottom lane right there, Bang had a great step forward off of one of the Zyra E's and was able to get a very positive trade.
Look at Peanut though, he passed by mid lane, avoids still in jungle. He doesn't know where Nidalee is. If he gets contested on that Scuttlecraft that he's doing right now, he is gonna go down. So this is a little bold. Even though these guys are separate parts of the map, we have to look at what the information is present to the teams, not to us.
Yeah, and this is my thought on Peanut's decision-making process. He knows that they late warded a spot that was warded by SKT. So that means SKT is expecting that Peanut's going to do a generally normal clear, so he's just making an educated guess that Bengi probably wouldn't invade based off of ward. And now, because he didn't get caught, he knows that Bengi would have done a full clear. These are all the things you have to somehow track in your head while you're laning at the highest level.
In addition to that, he secures the entrances to his jungle first before he goes to clear them. Which means if he gets contested, at least he can spot the Nidalee coming in early. God forbid she's in the jungle already, at least he got the Scuttlecraft for his troubles.
Yeah, Bengi right now was about a full camp ahead. At this point, it's going to be an equal trade overall. Every single jungler took 6 camps in a Scuttlecraft now, so they're a bit equal, but Bengi's the first to make a bit of a move. You can see a slightly deep trinket ward that won't always spot anything, but it is going to be the double bomb and a Kuro, and he's got a flash. That was a crucial flash. He probably would have died if that javelin landed.
Look at that,
A lot of damage and a hit, but they know there's no auto attack left for Bang. He's going to trade back in with Prey. Exhaust was already burned. Wolf stays in for a nice chunk of damage as well. The flash! Ooh, if an auto attack lands, he was dead.
The spear through the minions.
Bangy is not going to get it, but it's still dangerous. Rocks have very little to do here.
Peanut is coming. Bangy is very afraid of Fog of War here. One more try!
Oh, he had to flash to get away from that one, and that just means a quick jump over from Bangy. That is a loss of summoners for Rocks Tigers.
Wow, and with the snowball effect of some of these early jungle matchups, that could have had such a huge impact on the game. It does get both flashes there out of the Rocks Tigers in the extended engagement.
All right, Bangy is not going for a play on mid lane. He's going to wait for Peanut. He's going to challenge him on the Wolves. He actually hides out of vision here. Watch him walk in right now. He's going to contest that camp.
Pretty dangerous, you know.
Peanut pull it out.
On Kuro.
The mind games here, they know they can get spotted here.
They're going for Kuro.
Double bomb on a Kuro. Javel's going to land this time, and he's going to get the damage. Yes, he is. First blood in for Faker. Over the wall goes Bangy, and so far, so good for the first pick in Italy. The chase is still on, but hops over the wall, and Peanut gets nothing done.
Now we gotta question Kuro in this matchup. You cannot afford to get double bombed twice in a row. It is possible to sidestep that. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's versus Faker, but getting hit twice by those skill shots in a row costs Rocks the early lead.
One constant in this series has been Faker being able to outplay Kuro early on in the laning phase, and picking the Zillion is a very skill-reliant champion both as and against. And Bengi, it looked like he was feigning to go at Peanut, but with the double bomb, makes the spear automatic. Even though he sees Peanut, Bengi knows he has flash, autos after the execute, flashes, jumps, able to dodge the X, just the play that needs to be made.
Yeah, that's Kuro getting in slow range against the Zillion, which means you're under auto attack range right there. Trying to telegraph that he's going for the minions right there. You should have probably just sacked the CS. Did not expect Bengi to be around, because Bengi, unlike Peanut, is willing to waste a lot of time, or spend a lot of time rather, going for a setup. Peanut is such a high tempo jungler, he will at most wait 5, 6, 7 seconds for a play, then move on. Bengi was camping them for quite a while, just outside the edges of vision.
Which is extremely peculiar when you consider a Nidalee pick was usually all about the efficiency and being 10 and 20 CS up on the opponent.
Yeah, look how he pops his ghost early. He does not want to get in slow range of Faker, because the second Faker slows him, he almost but guarantees the double bomb.
There's so much risk though right now. Faker level 6 has the ult. Any turret dive is almost no risk if Peanut's not there, and Peanut himself practically out of mana. Probably won't have much to say if the dive does happen. Kuro just barely level 5 right now.
Kuro, seeing the one bomb was on the minions, positions himself against the turret. He's definitely going to get hit by the next bomb. It's a very contentious mid lane right now. Bengi, though, actually getting out-leveled by Peanut, so power farming on Olaf. He is one of the few junglers that can keep up with Nidalee's speed of farm.
Definitely can, but Bengi's taking a deep player approach. He went for pressure in the bot lane. Guess what? A little CS lead here and pushing lanes. There's vision, there's control. SKT is much more happy to give up the slight CS lead in the jungle to get control of the game. If they can rob this blue buff away from both Olaf and Victor, it's a big hit to Rocks' economy.
And he's just going to take the blue for himself, while the Rocks lanes are none the wiser because the ward smattering doesn't actually catch him. Great timing.
And now he keeps him just locked up. Allow the lanes to thrive right now. Winning mid, winning bot. Even the Gnar is going even in terms of push versus Met, but if you then look at the CS count,
yeah,
that's a whole different matchup.
Yeah, let's kind of recap the game overall. We've been focusing very heavily on what Faker and Bengi have been doing, and to the credit, it's been really good. You've got a moderate lead in the bot lane, Bang up 9 right now over Frey, but this top lane matchup is plus 22. Smeb is single-handedly keeping the gold remotely close. Arrow lands on the Bang, but is there any meaningful follow-up? Not really. A root on a wolf, and it's a fair bit of damage, but now it's Faker joining in, finding the double bomb on a Prey. The curtain call is there, and Peanut's going to block it, so that's going to be all right for them. It is a TP out of Faker, the ghost out of Peanut showing up.
Very surprised that they actually decided to commit to that teleport, not cancel Faker out there. This is breathing room for Kuro in the mid lane. Just want to touch back to that Smeb point. Because these junglers have constantly been revealing each other, obviously top was a free playground for Smeb to continuously push in on that Rumble.
Yeah, and when Rumble doesn't have to fear jungle ganks, he will shove in almost all of their top laners. But to talk about the bottom lane again, I'm a little surprised that once again, SKT gets hit by the Ash Arrow exactly on level 6. Like, how many times does that play have to happen? But because they have the double TP, they have the luxury of burning it, so to speak, out of Faker. He loses pressure on the mid lane, but he does harass the bottom lane as the next.
This is also part of that teleport. These plays that cannot be evaluated in the back room. You gotta look at the kind of minute span that happens right after. They lose the red buff, and right now, there's pressure.
You can see all this damage now onto this bottom turret. Rock Tigers heavily playing around their bottom lane. Smeb's quietly winning in the top lane, but all the pressure is down here in the 2-on-2. And despite the earlier farm deficit, look at all the damage Rox is getting on the turret itself. Peanut, nice juke on the Deadly Flourish. Gonna get rooted up by a Wolf, but look at the damage they can do thanks to Zyra on this poor Karma. And if Peanut can hit it, that red buff affects turrets. Look at the damage he's got on that.
Yeah, they're 3/4 of the turret. They might actually finish it unless Duke teleports down, which he doesn't want to do. This lane pressure is immense from Rox Tigers.
And there's a reason Rox is this confident, because in the mid lane, Kuro saw Faker run back into mid with blue buff. Guess how he got it?
Handoff.
Handoff, which means jungle's on the other side of the map here. Rox have shown a continuous priority for a tier 1 tower in the bot lane, and they've succeeded the last 3 games in a row, and it's really what's propelling them forward in the mid game, because now again they can unlock this Ashe for more arrows.
And has to be flashed out of Bang for that one. The
Teleport
coming up already.
flash.
Here we go. What's going to happen?
By Duke.
Summoner heal just to run away a bit faster, but Equalizer is perfect, and Bang has nowhere to go. But Bangi's around as well. All of SKT now flooding into the bottom lane through the Tri-Brush. This is going to be a bit of a close fight. No root's going to land, but a lot of slows coming out. Now the Snipes looking towards Prey, looking towards Gorilla. How much can be landed? One shot comes through. How much more can even happen? And he weaves it through him. That's the kill. Smeb is next up. Summoner heal is in. The chase through for Bangi, and it's going to be another Javelin. Will he chase in? No. Deadly Flourish blocked by the one person who wasn't attacked. Great for the team for being rooted, but that is another kill for SKT.
Kuro was much slower than Faker, so halfway through the play, he turned around, he went back to the mid lane. That's when Rox decided to retreat. That's why they let Zyra take that last bullet as well, because she was dead in the water anyways. Rox trying to cut their losses.
Yeah, but a much different and more proactive SKT is what we're seeing in this game. They make the mistake of being too obvious about their blue handoff to Faker, and they lose a turret, but very quickly they react to trying to send everyone to the bottom lane after Rox tried to make the teleport play.
But also one of these plays where Rox, they make a play, it fails, and they keep going on. And this is one of these plays where if they don't go for this teleport, they actually win out on the map hugely. But they match TP for TP. They don't follow up on Equalizer. Honestly, they should be able to respect that Faker is here much faster than Girl. This is, from a strategic point of view, a misplay from Rox. We cannot understate that SKT did the right thing in reacting, but still, if you play.
You're right, it is another reactive play here by SKT, but they have the ability to roam much better with double TP and a Zillion. Now they have Smeb slowed with no flash.
Even more. Root into goodbye. Smeb running out of health. That'll be an easy one picked up. Bang! Gonna secure the last hit. 2 of 3 of SKT's kills are on the 80 carry. Looking pretty good. 700 gold in the mid game.
All right, there's your proactive play from SKT, and they need to be able to play at this level, being up 3 kills. With the Zillion, Karma, Jhin, and the Nidalee, like, they really do need to start snowballing this game and be able to get to a point where they can just close onto Prey and Gorilla.
We might see even more of that. Talking about some of the gold leads here. The gap has closed in the top lane. You're seeing 86 to 90 up there, so props to Duke for making all that happen. And kind of everywhere on the map, it's a very tight game. Turrets one apiece. Rox Tigers still down despite getting first turret goal.
Crowd here rallying behind both these teams, honestly.
Cooling support between the fans right here, and this series has really delivered on almost every level, and it's not even over yet, especially if SKT could turn this into a 15. We know the Rox Tigers need to conquer SKT. They thought they'd have a chance to do it in the summer split. Then SKT went ahead and lost to KT Golster, so even though Rox won Korea, they didn't actually go through SKT, and now they do have an opportunity to take them down 3-1 if they're able to win this game.
And because it's so even, Rox can't do their favorite gameplay pattern here. They can't just swap in Prey into the mid lane. He is pushing out, but usually when Prey does this, he pushes out bot lane until he no longer feels safe, goes into Fog of War behind mid and looks for an arrow. But he is obviously playing against a Zillion with both a built-in speed boost as well as a revive if things go a little sour.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about the Tahm Kench being a potential pick against the Ashe. The Zillion is also a good pick against the Ashe, unless Zillion is the one who gets hit by the arrow. And Karma can help with the speed, too.
Like they saw him coming, and they were still so close to getting hit by this arrow because Prey, he just shoots them off so perfectly. He passed 2 wards, and he still got within an inch of hitting right there.
Always a lot to watch for, of course. The Victor in the mid lane can blow you up if you're not paying attention to that. The arrow as well, and even Wolf paying attention, of course. The haste helping for sure. Quick clear in the mid lane. It's SKT with the first play on this one. Rox will be wave clearing second.
And I wonder where Prey is going. Maybe he surprises top by moving behind the Rumble, and Rox go for what they've always been doing, switching up, going for another tier 1 turret, but there is still a dragon that's available in the bot side that's drawing them back to the southern part of the map.
Yeah, and notice how open the map actually is right now. Both teams have cleared the bottom turret, and there's a lot of mutual respect for the power of these teams. Notice how few deep wards there are for both teams. They kind of have the river and their own side of the jungle warded, but nothing beyond that. So it's very difficult to actually make intelligent plays forward, and instead they're almost relying on Nash Arrow or some type of setup at the drone.
Yeah, it's always difficult when teams control their own side of the map so well. You have to rely on some level of guesswork, and we know Rocks are happy to play around guessing. You know, they're happy to take these chancy plays. Hopefully they don't get double slap for this.
And you can see that they're trying to decide it together right now. They pinged the bot wave, they sent Victor there off the screen away, and then Kura turned around and was like, nah, actually, I don't really want to go bot lane right now. Let's just share a wave and farm. So things are no longer just mapped out minutes ahead. Both these teams are stuck in a state of flux, continuously reacting to what they see, but there's so much more that they don't see because there is no deep vision.
Seeing this trade back and forth, mostly playing around clearing the waves, putting them up to the turret and saying, can we get to the side? Can we get to the mouth of the river? Maybe a little bit here, and it goes away. You see Faker killing wards over this pink ward that's been placed down. That little bit of the river is theirs. And, well, they've got this part of the river as well, clearing out this ward that Gorilla just put down.
And this time, SKT's AD carry actually has pick potential himself. It's not an Ash Arrow, but a Curtain Call played well, who combined with Deadly Flourish, essentially can do the same thing.
Yeah, not to mention he has the Ghostblade Power Spike right now before Frey completely Essence Reaver. They do have a pretty powerful moment right now, but Peanut starts the Drake while Benki is in base.
Benki had finished the
SKT should
recall.
open the Curtain Call here, try and push them off.
But there's no one there to really help them fight. The Nidalee's not there to do battle. The rest could TP in. I think SKT understand they couldn't have really fought for that.
Look where Faker was. He was like meandering around the red buff. Another arrow.
Oh! He juked back into it. Banshee turned back down. The chain CC is there, but Bang is able to flash away, but that is Summoner's down. Now the reopen up onto Gorilla, but Peanut's going to tank the shots, and he's like, yeah, go ahead, shoot at me, I don't care, and the last one gets juked out.
I'm telling you, man, this guy, he knows exactly how you're going to juke, and even that you know that he knows, you still get hit.
He got sped up by Karma too, and he couldn't figure out exactly where to go. Also, that play was set up though because of the one deep pink ward that Rox has had in SKT's jungle for a while now. Faker was meandering. Oh, they actually catch prey.
The Deadly Flourish is there. Ash arrows are nice, but the root's good as well. He's got Bangy to help stick him down. Now, how good is the chase going to be? Undertow's going to miss, and the equalizer, not how I would have aimed it myself. It should have been
a little bit.
90 degrees counterclockwise. Might have been the counter engage they needed.
Yeah, that wasn't a great equalizer, but it's Smeb. There's one top lane in Rumble that I will forgive. A little bit of an oopsie. It is Smeb. But yeah, Rocks right now, they're being matched by SKT. Not only are they being matched, SKT is 1,000 gold ahead.
Ooh, now Peanut's in a bit of danger. No flash, or no ghost, I should say, for him. It was already down. He's able to run away. Red Smite's just to lower the damage output that Duke would have had on him.
A little shake up here too. Bengi looking to join Faker on the bot lane, maybe surprising Prey. Prey kept his flash though, very important. But the zone from bombs might be enough to get some chip damage, or at least a rotation mid maybe. SKT changing up the laning patterns here themselves.
Yeah, Faker's also been roaming a lot this game, so Kuro's ahead of him in CS despite having the early death in the mid lane, which will be a boon for Rox in the late game if Kuro's able to hit those big item power spikes. And for now, it's still a very even game, but with that roam, SKT didn't get chip damage. They did get some very powerful wards within the jungle of Rox.
They're waiting for kicks again here. It's honestly that first TP that Faker did that just didn't quite hit the mark. He gave Kuro enough breathing room. Aggressively contesting blue buffs though. Are you aware of the timers? He eventually gets it.
Yeah, he's giving a lot away, and fine, this is still a 1,500 gold lead for SK Telecom T1. Their persistent team fight damage later in the game isn't incredibly high, whereas Rocksuckers have a whole bunch of damage threats. Zillion tapers off damage-wise pretty quickly. But so far it is still SKT controlling, and every team that has held an early game lead has been able to close it out so far this series. We know these top level teams are so good at playing with the lead and never letting someone back in.
But SKT have put Rox in honestly a good chokehold here, because nobody can really deal with Faker in the side lane. Faker is much more mobile if he wants to lead. In addition to that, he also has teleport. So if they can actually keep Kuro locked down in the bot lane, receiving the push from Faker, and this doesn't happen, then SKT is good. SKT want to keep these lane matchup, but they have to keep dodging the arrows, and that's the hardest part. If they do that, though, Faker can continuously pressure out the bot lane.
And it gives them more and more time to try and set up, because if Victor's not in the team fight is very weak for the Rox Tigers, and there's a lot of targets that can be picked off at this stage in the game. Most namely, you talk about the Zyra and the Ashe.
Also, as the Victor has to trail in the team fight late, he's going to run into potential pick attempts here by a sped up Faker. Max range from the mid lane. Bang with the curtain call. He can influence both top and bot lane. That's why you really want to have that Jhin in the mid lane. And there's still that ward. Look, Bang spotted again.
For all the incredible plays that these guys have pulled off and all the praise we've given them, you have to check that rush for the pink ward. It's going back earliest things when you're in the jungle.
You heard? Yeah, nope, he's going for red buff.
He hasn't been smiting the Raptors, so it's also not giving him the notification when he's close to it. And that is just giving so much knowledge to the Rock Tigers.
They know exactly where Nidalee is, which means Peanut can hard commit for this gank. No risk of counter ganks.
He's tried so many times to come up with his lane, actually. It's the third time I've seen him on the screen up there in the last 3 minutes or so trying to make it happen. Bengi just takes away half his camps, and Duke kills a ward away and says, yeah, nice try, buddy. Looking at one more chance in this one. Axe gonna land, and Duke seems impervious to this pressure.
It's honestly also because it's both enjoy scope for the lane, but also because there is no other option. It's so hard to gank mid lane, so visual down here. You're not really going to gank a Faker in a long lane on the Zillion, so your only option is to try to farm, which he does, and then linger around top lane, maybe at least preventing a gank from Bang.
Yeah, and we may be in that situation from Rock's Tigers where unless they land a beautiful Ash Arrow to engage, we just don't see them making any proactive plays because they don't have the team composition to do it, especially against all of the mobility that SKT has early on in the season.
Like we're maybe headed towards catastrophic team fight the game as it's slowed down a little bit here. Only 1 turret per team 20 minutes in. Rock's Tigers have been held killless so far 20 minutes in. That's nearly a record in itself. They normally get so much more done here at this point.
The next Mountain Drake spawns in a mid though, and with that being a very valued dragon for both these teams, that may be a catalyst that this game so desperately requires.
I agree with you there. And even though SKT did have some good warding in the blue buff area of the Rock's Tigers, that's been cleared out. And there's still that pesky little pink ward that Peanut placed many minutes ago.
It's actually a great TP ward. If you make them retreat from Dragon into their own jungle somehow, that can be very surprising.
Yeah, and I wonder where SKT is going to divert their pressure. Rocks have been the kings of the dragon so far in this series by getting it again and again. About the 5th gank the Peanut sent up the top lane. Maybe he reaches Duke this time. Faker's on the way.
This looks quite a bit better. The slows are still there, but suddenly the fact that Faker could revive means nothing to be had. Oh, what a great zone used by Smeb! Getting away from it all, and the bombs aren't going to land either. But the turret's so low, and Bangy wants to dive. He's got one, and SKT are breaking this one apart now. Faker knocked around in front of the turret, does not get up to burn the ult. He's getting low and just never casts it.
He doesn't respect the Zyra damage, misses his self-ultimate.
And now it could be dangerous. Wolf's gonna die in a couple more shots. Oh, it's gonna be enough that the Bangy shuts him out anyway. And that is 2 for 1, favor of SKT. Rocks finally get a kill 21 minutes in, later than they would have liked.
And what a crazy engagement. The Zonia is perfectly timed by Smeb, but Bangy coming in to save the fight. His Nidalee has been pretty good considering he's never played it competitively. So some big moments coming in from SKT here, and they get a little bit smaller of a lead in this game.
Honestly, super cool game mechanics there too. After the Zonias, so what you have to know is that after Zonias, if you place 2 bombs, it will instant trigger on Smeb. So the fact that Peanut actually picks up the bomb after the Zonias in a little bit is quite peculiar because it allows Smeb to then flash out. That's what happens here. Smeb reads the flash beautifully. Then the first bomb comes out, he goes to the Peanut, and that means no double stun on the Smeb. It's like the little things, but then the same bomb ends up killing him anyways.
And that's the cute finish right there. But then Faker right here, a bunch of minions. He bombs the minions, doesn't ult himself, didn't want to be reviving the turret, but you definitely don't want to die, so a big misplay by him right there. And they're fighting over that Mountain Drake right now.
And it's SKT who seem to be the ones with control. Ward in the pit, everything they could possibly need, it feels like. And SKT will answer Mountain Drake for Mountain Drake. 2,500 gold separating both the squads, and that's secured by Bangy.
That's so important.